Oh, Hanaki, we're so back. Welcome back to Taisho Romance Theater. I was literally just playing this a few hours ago, Smile. And now we're gonna try to finish it, maybe. I don't know how much more I actually have to get through. I just know that there's a lot of content. There's apparently a lot of content to this game. Not a lot of choices, so this really is pretty much just gonna be a lot of reading. But this is a spooky game in comparison to Okami Okami, so maybe this is more appropriate for the nighttime hours. But yeah, we're gonna lock in and try and finish. For those of you who weren't here for part 1, the gist of the story is we are playing as a boy named, well, man, named Kotori Sakuma, who is part of the Emerald Eye Theater Troupe. They've been traveling for about a year and have recently returned to Tokyo, which is their home base. But during their travels, about a month ago, there was a big train accident with like a big explosion, and like the train came off the tracks, and a lot of people were killed, and the rest of the troupe was not really injured, except for Kotori, who hit his head. He got an ouchie owie on his head, and now he has chronic headaches, and he has complete amnesia of the life that he was living before that incident, basically. Two of the other people in the troupe with him, like the leading actress and the leader of the troupe itself, are his friends from high school. And basically, due to a series of events, one of his childhood friends ends up dying in front of him, and he discovers that she's actually been dead for quite some time and was being preserved through dark magic. He also finds out that he has powers. He has the ability to make things happen. Like, whatever he says out loud becomes like the new truth, like the new reality of the world. He can like channel his magic through his words and through his like performances. There's currently an investigation to figure out what the troupe's affiliation is with this like kind of eldritch god, basically. But when he goes back to where they were all staying to kind of like investigate and figure out like what they've been keeping from him, he finds the rest of the troupe is also dead and had been preserved this entire time, but he just didn't know. They kept it a secret from him. His other childhood friend, the one who is still alive, Kazuya, is not there, and he runs into the scriptwriter for the troupe, who also used to be their music teacher, I believe. They tell him that Kazuya is in the hospital. So where we last left off, Kotori was on his way to the hospital to go see Kazuya and like check on him, and also to like inform him of their mutual childhood friend's death and stuff. This amnesia is okay because the game started with it, I assume? Yes. Since our character basically started with amnesia, I don't really mind this as much. I think I would be more frustrated if he somehow got amnesia again, but I don't think he will. I don't really see why he would. But yeah, so this game is very dark. There was actually a warning that loaded in at the beginning of the game that said that there was an option to have like gore and entrails visible. I have chosen to censor that because I am a weak little baby and I do not like gore and entrails, so no thank you, Smile. So that's turned off for my playthrough. If you want to play this game yourself, the demo is available on both Steam and itch.io. And if you want to turn on the gore, you can re-experience the game with all the gore. Sure, go for it. That's your prerogative. It's not mine. Not me, no thanks. But this is a really good game. I'm super intrigued by everything that's going on in it, so I'm excited to continue. We ran into a woman who seemingly recognizes Kotori, because Kotori is from the Sakuma family, which is apparently like a really well-known, prestigious family, but he does not really remember them at all, so he doesn't really understand why everyone treats them like such a big deal. But he ran into someone who recognized him for being a Sakuma, and she like offered to take him in her car to the hospital. They like just picked up flowers to bring to Kazuya. So that's kind of where we left off, and that's gonna be where we're starting. Like I said, this particular game, like the common route is really long, as I was told by the dev. Really long, not really a lot of choices get made. It's a lot of just reading, world building, as it were. And I don't know how much longer it is, because I played for about 4 hours earlier today, and I didn't finish it. So we'll see just how much more there is. We'll lock in and play for a bit. Okay. Are you eye zooming at my outfit, Astra? I understand. Lots of people have been. I've used this asset a few times before, during some kawaii streams and then in a couple after kawaii, but yeah. I like this outfit, it's fun. It was more fitting for Okami, but I didn't feel like changing, so we're sticking with it. All right, I've got refilled water. I'm ready to lock in. Ahem. Back in the car, the light scent quickly fills the enclosed space, making the atmosphere a little more relaxed than before. I remember you work in a theater troupe. I nod before remembering that she can't see me from up front. I shift my gaze a little awkwardly to the leather that encases the back of the car seat. The leather is crisscrossed with dense organic wrinkles, which segmented into countless miniature triangles. It's mesmerizing. Yes, the Emerald Eye Troupe. Have you heard of it? Not only have I heard of it, I know about the accident you had and your head injury. Is this gonna be a preview of your new outfit? No. No, it is not this vibe. It's adjacent, maybe, in a way, but, like, not at all a preview. What? There's nothing surprising about it. Our family and yours, meaning the Sakuma family, we work together sometimes. This sort of news would reach me even if I didn't seek it out. At this point, Sakurai folds her arms again. Her fingers drum against her clothed joints with a light skittering sound. The Sakuma family. So on top of the magic, they wield this much influence. Enough for Sakurai to bring it up with me. But does she know the truth about the incident? The newspaper said there was an explosion. Was there something more behind it? I realize now that I've been speaking my mind aloud. Sakurai's expression seems genuine. There's no sign that she's acting. Brother, some thoughts are meant to be inside thoughts. Don't leak these things. Some things are meant to be inside thoughts. Ay, ay, ay. Subtlety, thy name is not Kotori. No, nothing. I was just thinking that trains don't just overturn out of nowhere. You have a point. Dear me, I was sure your uncle or your sister would have met with you. When I heard that you'd lost your memory, I thought it was just your family's pretext for fobbing me off. I only realized it was true when I saw you today. Sarina and the family most likely know the truth. Perhaps you can ask them. Sarina. I make a mental note of the name. Pretext? What do you mean by that? What do they do? Nothing. It doesn't matter. In any case, if you plan to go back... No, given what your sister is like, she'll make sure you go back. If you're still completely in the dark then, it'll be far too late. Oh well. What I'm about to say may not be best coming from me, but I think you should at least know some of the facts. The current head of the Sakuma family is your uncle, Minoru Sakuma. Your parents... Never mind that. The point is, they left you and your younger sister Sarina to be raised by him. It's been over a decade since then. This girl's design kind of reminds me of Yukari from Persona. I was getting... Haru from Persona 5? But maybe that's because of the hat. I can see Yukari because of the pink. And in the hair, for sure. But I was kind of getting, like... I was getting more P5 lady vibes than P3, personally. But she does feel very Persona core. Sakuma-san is a highly capable man. But when he was running the Sakuma family business, he, wasn't too fond of the Sakuma name. And so as far as the public knows, the family enterprise has nothing to do with the family itself. That's why it's understandable that you don't know about it. The original cover story was that being the eldest son, you have your own dreams and aspirations. As such, most people believe that Sarina will ultimately inherit the business, and your head injury truly clinched it. But if you were to come back, that would change things. Especially after Sakuma-san alerted our family again. I'm back. I went to get snacks. Yummy! I hope you have some good snacks. Sarina has spent the past few years shadowing Sakuma-san as his apprentice. She's changed so much. I can't say I understand her any longer. She's a bit too headstrong, and her tactics can be rather underhanded. In all sorts of things, including when it comes to her brother. Not to mention how the Sakuma family also... Are you listening? When she mentions those two names, Minoru and Sarina, a familiar splitting pain suddenly courses through my skull. My headache, which has subsided over a year of recuperation, now flares like a furnace rekindling from embers, kicking up fragments of memory. Do you have to go, Oni-san? With them? So that's it. I see. It's okay, Oni-san. You've always been the one protecting me. This time it's my turn to protect you. Minoru-san is coming. Oni-san, Ah, here you are. Your teacher tells me that you've done fine work on your recent assignments. But you seem far too tired lately. Why didn't you tell me about this? I don't recall ever instructing you to be the kind of child who doesn't dare to speak up. Your sister does excellently. Very well. Take the young master back to his room, and let him have a good long rest this time. Oh, and put him on a lighter diet. Be sure to tell the kitchen staff not to add salt. Hey, are you alright? Sarina and... Minoru-san? Amidst these memories, unearthed from some unknown recesses of my brain, a voice is calling out. I heave great gasps of air. The sharp pain slices Sakurai's words into unintelligible pieces. It's only after the pain slowly recedes that I gain some breathing room. Sakurai is clutching the padded passenger seat, alarm still lingering on her face. I kept calling you, but you didn't answer. How are you feeling? Do you want to get a checkup? We're already at the hospital. The grand entrance of GK Hospital casts its long, dense shadows over Sakurai's face. She's frowning once again, brows drawn together into fine creases. I'm fine. I get these flare-ups sometimes. Don't worry. Really? Really. She continues to stare at me with furrowed brows. Her gaze rakes across my face, damp with cold sweat. I force a rather stiff smile. It must look quite unsightly, since Sakurai's frown deepens even further. After a while, she swivels and looks away. Her voice has regained its coolness. Since you're alright, it's no longer my concern. You may leave. Don't forget to wipe your sweat before you go. I get out of the car, carrying the basket of flowers. Sakurai waves to me through the window, then turns back and says a few words to the driver. She slowly vanishes from sight, to the sound of the chugging engine. Only then do I shift my gaze to the hospital sign. GK Hospital looks like it was built not too long ago, given its relatively Western architecture, but it's a huge building. Even at this late hour, it blazes with lamplight, and through the neatly arrayed glass partitions, I can make out the throng of busy medical staff and patients awaiting treatment. Well, this means I'm far from being the only late-night visitor. Room 201. The wind gusts across my damp forehead, and I shiver. I better hurry in. The corridors of the inpatient ward are only lit by small lamps, most likely to avoid disrupting the patient's rest. I occasionally spot family members seated on benches outside the rooms, speaking in hushed voices. The nurses and relatives all tread lightly as they move back and forth. The lamps only illuminate the tops of their heads. The rest of them remain shrouded in darkness, and the shadows at their feet unfurl from short to long, like paper cutouts dancing in the wind. The door of room 201 stands ajar. A faint light seeps through the crack underneath. This is the time the staff make their rounds. I can see nurses and doctors shuttling in and out of the other rooms. Only room 201 stands undisturbed. Maybe it isn't Kazuya's turn yet. I take a deep breath as I internally reassure myself. Then, moving as quietly as I can, I push the door fully open. Aww, baby. There's no one else in the room. Only Kazuya, lying silent on the bed nearest the window, still as a colorless sculpture. The pale moonbeams and pale lamplight weave together to form a gauzy veil, which drapes down to kiss the back of Kazuya's hand, where the intravenous needle pierces the pallid skin. I hold my breath until I see the slight rise and fall of his chest. Then I can finally let the pent-up air come rushing out in a sigh. I'm so glad. So glad. I gently clear a space among the objects littering the bedside table and set down the flowers I'm holding. Their faint scent pervades the room, and Kazuya's brows, drawn so taut even in deep sleep, seem to gradually ease. Only now do I notice that his collar has fallen open in his sleep. Between the folds of fabric, I catch a glimpse of his slender neck. I can make out the blue veins beneath his thin skin. Oh. Yeah, you can see the little thin blue, like right here. Well, I'm guessing that's not the vein. I'm guessing that's his magic. But also, ugh. I reach out to help adjust his collar. But when I brush against his skin, I vaguely sense that something is different from ordinary skin. There's a certain dry smoothness to it. Just like exposed flesh. Whoa. My fingers tremble a little as I part his collar and uncover what is hidden beneath, leaving it quivering in the cool air. The muscular fibers that should be covered by skin are instead laid bare. I can see every slight twitch of the vibrant scarlet sinews. Whoa. That's kind of creepy looking. It's a little creepy. The wounds are irregular in shape, and an eerie blue glow flickers around their edges, casting a ghastly aura upon this corpse-like form. Rather than shock, worry, or any emotion of the sort, what floods through me first is a wild, unseemly joy. These don't look moist. They're not oozing any fresh fluids. They must have been made a while ago. Not as far back as a year, and not as recent as the past few days. Kazuya is alive. The wounds are perfectly even where they meet the skin. I can even picture Kazuya pointing the tip of the knife at his own chest and slowly, methodically carving away his own flesh. Leaving behind those scars, glimmering blue like an octopus, or a jellyfish, or plankton drifting through the deep sea night. Hatsuyuki's words softly reverberate within my head. Is this magic again? Or... But, even with these wounds, Kazuya's body bears no signs of suturing. He's still alive. He's alive right now. My gaze remains helplessly fixed on those strips of exposed flesh. They rise and fall with Kazuya's steady breathing, imbuing them with a raw, bloody vitality. In the stillness, thoughts slowly unfurl tendrils through my mind. Outside the window is deep darkness, and silence reigns within. It's so quiet I can hear the fluid dripping from the glass bottle. This atmosphere lends itself to the wildest speculations, urging the mind to run rampant. And so my brain sluggishly churns into action, beginning to tally up all the doubts I've neglected before. Why are Kazuya and Hamado-sensei, and I, the only ones still alive? They must know something, but how much? Or what if, just like what happened to Officer Kazematsuru, they know the truth but can't speak of it? But Kazuya is still alive, and that's enough. Enough for me to calmly face what comes next. The secret they don't know, the fate they cannot resist. I, or the Sakuma family that Kazematsu and Sakurai mentioned, will surely stand a chance against it. Until the moon outside the window slowly sinks even deeper into the pre-dawn clouds. Until the sky is tinted with a faint pink-purple blush, and a steady glow forms around the edges. Until my dry eyes blink and are met with a long-delayed wetness. Before Kazuya's eyelashes stir, I straighten his collar back to rights, and leave a note conveying my well wishes and Hamano-sensei's request. Then I stealthily depart the hush of the sick room. Shutting the door feels like sealing away some secret. On the way back to the troop lodgings, the freshly fallen snow sheds a pearly glow. I rub at my right eye, where an ache is slowly developing. A breeze whisks past, and when I lower my hand, I notice a patch of color that stands out stark against the white snow. The smear of deep green extends along the street into an alleyway that shows no signs of sunlight or life. From the mouth of the alleyway, the faint rays of the sun are just enough for me to make out the signboard half shrouded in darkness, and the words inked upon it. Watanabe Hall of Antique Books? The door to the shop is shut tight. A yellowed paper is tacked to it, announcing the shop's imminent closure. And those ominous flickers of deep green blink in and out of existence, fleeting as mist in the sun. They rise and fall as if borne by the great breaths of some invisible beast. The unearthly aura they exude sends chills down my spine. My heart pounds faster and faster, drawing me onward. But Kazematsu's words are like the reins on a bridle, yanking it back before it can leap from my chest. She said to watch out. Tokyo is a global city, the heart of Japan. I've only just become privy to some of the secrets hidden from the public. Even so, I'm well aware that in such a vast population, a small proportion can still be a large number. It's plausible enough that a mage might have passed by not long ago. It's just that... I look up. The Watanabe Hall of Antique Books looms before me, blinking gently in a beguiling emerald glow. As snowflake drifts down, light as a white down feather. Oh, a snowflake. Sorry, I can't read. A snowflake drifts down, light as a white down feather. Another follows, and still more come tumbling until the pinpricks of light are like dots of paint on a blank canvas. This scene seems so familiar, but the elements it's composed of have been completely transformed. Amidst the haze of snow, a current stirs in the air, unfurling all around me at once, whispering above my head and beneath my feet, bearing some delicate and indefinable scent. As the snow falls, warmth blankets my body. When I stare in that direction, I see nothing but the glow of emerald and white. I don't know whether this is that so-called Lord Octopteropes manifesting, or just a delusion for my frost-addled brain. Everything here feels so real it practically breathes with life and presence. It puts me on edge. I want to leave. There's a sudden itch in my arm. It prickles with goose flesh, as if my skin realized that I was being watched before my brain could. And those bumps on my skin seem to be growing, swelling out into longer limbs. What? Ew. The sight is familiar enough to dull my curiosity somewhat. But just then something scrapes my skin, like hair prickling against it, and that sharp itch is almost more than I can bear. I'd better go back and tell her about it. Before I leave, in a tiny patch of unperceived darkness, a feather slips from my sleeve. It drifts downwards, laden with hesitation and unease. Its emerald shaft and white plume settle in the dirty snow melt and gradually dissolve. Is he close to transforming even though he's barely used his powers? Friggin' yikes. Because the feather came out of his sleeve again. Before I thought it was like a remnant from Hatsuyuki, but maybe it's him. Weh. Weird. When I open my eyes in bed, the sun is already aloft outside the window. I have no idea how long it's been up. My body feels so heavy, like I have sandbags bound to every limb. I've only felt like this after a full day of dance practice. Even lifting a finger is excruciating. The soft quilt weighs down on me, pinning me in place. Only my soul floats in the sunlight with the dust motes, basking in the gentle floral scent. I didn't dream this time, but this dreamless sleep has left me even more exhausted. Maybe this is just what it's like being human. The train crash, the death of Hatsuyuki and everyone else, and Kazuya's scars. Once something is no longer an accident, but the result of human action, the pain stops overflowing and is replaced by something else. Only when the patterns on the ceiling start to undulate and the shadow of the lamp begins to shift with the sun's rays do I finally regain enough strength to sit up and sort through my thoughts. I haven't seen Hamado-sensei since getting back. Hamado and Kazuya are fairly close, and Kazuya is generally the one who stays in contact with them. Hamado does seem to know what's going on, but I still need some way to get them to talk. Hamado-sensei's personality is so twisted, I could ask them any number of questions and barely learn anything. I could probably ask Kazematsuru to look into it, but given her attitude, she might end up butting heads with Kazuya. Kazuya. I'm suddenly overcome by the urge to sigh. Surely he can't keep hiding the truth from me at this point. But apart from the living corpses and the magic, how much does he actually know? If there's really no other way. Hatsuyuki, Kazematsuru, even Sakurai. They all brought up the Sakuma family. I do my best to ignore the nausea that wells up my throat at the mere thought of this name. It might just be due to my amnesia, but I wonder if the family member Sakurai mentioned might not be as warm and kindly as I once imagined. After all, I never heard anything about the Sakuma family from the other troop members, and it's a fact that we haven't been in contact since my amnesia. But if someone is willing to lend a hand, I'll... No, that's wrong. I no longer have the luxury of telling other people you'll do and picking and choosing freely. Sakurai was right. I might have the chance to meet them soon. I don't harbor any deep feelings for my so-called family, and perhaps this is one of the few cards I have to play, as long as I use it well, as long as my younger sister will accept it. My thoughts are interrupted by a convulsive shiver, as if I'm warning my own brain not to venture any further. Before losing my memory, why exactly did I want to leave Tokyo? Best not to dwell on it. I'll just wait until Kazuya wakes up. Yes, I'll wait until he's awake. The other shoe has to drop then. But before that, there's the bookshop. The only trace I've seen since the familiar was implanted. A scene that's both recognizable and alien. Somehow I don't think it's a coincidence. I'll tell Kazematsuru about it and go take a look. Now that I've thought all this through, the exhaustion coiled around me is like a knot that's been cut. The whole tangle unravels and falls away. Well, I'll wash up first and make a call to Kazematsuru, and then I'll start by looking into the Sakuma family. I'm talking a big game, but my limbs are still sore and sluggish from sleep. My feet feel numb and inert, like I'm treading on cotton wool. Even such a short walk proves challenging. When I drag myself to the telephone, lift the receiver, and turn the dial, I still have to lean against the table for support. I listen to the static on the line, stamping my feet lightly to shake off that discomfort. What is it? Kazematsuru's voice sounds in my ear. As I string together a sentence, my gaze idly wanders away. Which is how I spot something that shouldn't be here. That's... Hello? What was that? Hey, answer me! What do you see? The sun today is the brightest it's been in days. When I leave my room, the hand on the wall clock is still hovering between 2 and 3. The sun's rays are no longer like a small light bulb, all glow and no warmth. They've grown hot enough to melt away the snow lining the streets. I'm not fond of thick clothing, so this is the one good thing that's happened to me recently. The one and only thing. The envelope in my hand seems to be smoldering. Ever since I made my call to Kazematsuru and noticed the lightly scented letter lying on the table, and the fact that there was no trace of damage to the front entrance or my room door, it's been like a beacon in the darkness, ceaselessly proclaiming its presence. The paper is dry, soft, and smooth. It emanates the chilly fragrance of violet leaf. The signature on it reads Sayana Sakuma. That's what made me finally decide to hang up the call, leave my room, and walk out into the lukewarm breeze. Oh, convenient. Well, he did say that... Well, the people around him have been saying there will probably be a chance to meet the Sakuma family sooner or later. Looks like the sister is making first contact. A younger sister who's vanished from my memories, and who only exists for a fleeting moment in the mouths of others. Perhaps she wanted to save me, a new arrival in the city, from having to make too long a trip. After the standard pleasantries, she very thoughtfully set our meeting place as the cafe I've been dining in for the past few days. The tone of her letter was polite, so polite as to be distant, but I feel every word like a thorn in my side. A faint chill creeps from the soles of my feet to the top of my skull, as if countless eyes just discreetly swept across me, and my skin caught on before my mind could. Even in this fine weather, I can almost feel my teeth chattering, and it has nothing to do with the season. When I push open the cafe door and see that only one table is occupied, this mounting disquiet reaches its peak. Sister! Hi, sister! It's the strange girl I saw the first time I came here. She and the maids standing behind her raise their heads in unison, and their identical wintry stares pin me to the spot. Their complexions are equally pale. Their spines and arms have the perfect straightness of antique Western dolls in a shop window, ball joints rusted and unmoving. They might never have drawn breath. I recall the peculiar feeling I had when we first crossed paths. Now that I've realized the blood ties between us, that seems to explain it. My sister is calling to me through our kinship by blood. But why is she like this? Fated meetings, it seems. Their souls are connected by fate. Wow. And by blood, I guess. Time seems to have frozen. The silence is heavy enough to choke on. I can barely think of anything else. It's all I can do to maintain my calm exterior. Are you Sayana Sakuma? You know Hanaki mentioned real? Yeah, you know Hanaki mentioned... The afternoon sunlight is bright enough to illuminate every speck of dust drifting through the air. In this world, saturated with the sharp scent of coffee, sits the doll-like girl, gazing straight at me with keen golden eyes. Eventually, the muscles at the corners of her mouth flex, and a smile forms on her lips. It's a little stiff, but brings some life to her face. Yes, it's me, Oni-sama. Her lips part ever so slightly, and she lightly exhales a long, slow breath that skates across the past, stirring up ripples on its blank surface. Then she gestures, directing my attention to the stack of documents on the table. I do think you must have realized already, but to ease all your doubts, here is proof that you truly are my big brother. I shake my head. For the already renowned daughter of the Sakuma family, there's no need to bother with establishing bona fides, whether hers or mine. No need for that. I don't think you'd lie to me about this. Sayana seems fully satisfied with my reaction. She doesn't just raise the corner of her lips, but her eyebrows as well. It's been a long time. You look much better than you did before. I'm so glad. Please, sit down. I want to chat with you. Go to the kitchen and hurry them along. I don't want the snacks to be late. Yes, miss. The maid dips a small bow, then slips away as silently as a piece of paper. Sarina, for some reason, hearing that Oni-sama made me even more inclined to address her this way. Keeps her eyes on me until I'm seated on the other side of the booth. Only then does her unnerving gaze retreat. She picks up her teacup. Against that artificial white, the velvet gleams a brilliant red. Minoru-san doesn't let me waste too much time outside. Even though I have so much to tell you, Oni-sama. Please forgive me. This has to be a short sibling reunion. But before that, I think you have something you want to say to me, Oni-sama. Sarina takes a dainty sip of coffee, then sets the cup down on the saucer with a clink, leaving me room to speak. You should know that I've forgotten my past. So, even if you call me Oni-sama, I don't... I see. That's fine. It was always just me calling you that. She lowers her gaze. Her eyelashes flutter like wings. I just wanted to call you my big brother. I haven't seen you in 2 years. It doesn't matter if you've forgotten the past. Our past. I'm just so very lonely. So lonely that I want to cling to even the smallest scrap of hope. That's how it is. Her expression is as cold as ever, but her eyes and brows droop down towards her little silver spoon, twirling soundlessly in the cup. You know, Oni-sama, back when you loved candied plums and sweet rice balls, I thought you were being so childish, eating all those sweets instead of a proper meal. I thought the maid was holding a toilet seat. Yeah, no, it's a plate. It's the, one of the unfortunate side effects of this coloring style. It is not a toilet seat, it is a plate. Or like a tray or something. A while ago, I finally realized how rare sweetness is. But you were gone by then, Oni-sama. Sarina's voice has gone soft. Sadness hangs thick in the air, and the words I prepared stay jammed in my throat. I swallow them back down. Sorry, I'm just worried. I don't know what to say to that, but I don't want to be rude. I hope you don't mind. Sarina gives me a smile. Her facial muscles seem to have limbered up a little. Compared to her smile earlier, this one is more childlike and more befitting of her age. It's okay, Oni-sama. Well then, you called me here and you even... The thought of that letter, delivered to my room while I was fast asleep, makes my skin crawl and brings an involuntary frown to my face. Oh, that? I had somebody tell you. I'm sorry, Oni-sama. And I discovered something I wasn't expecting, so I wanted to give you a warning. She's so calm as she spits out words that make it impossible for me to stay calm. I'm on the verge of screaming. That'd be rude, but at this point I can't bring myself to care about these niceties, or even whatever danger she's talking about. What do you mean you had somebody tail me? Well, I mean I assigned detectives, or as I like to call them, money-hungry fools, to keep a constant eye on my vulnerable brother, and make sure he doesn't get caught up in anything strange or dangerous. That's all. She cocks her head, seemingly perplexed by my reaction. A lock of hair tumbles over her forehead, obscuring the sharp contours that frame her eyes. I was concerned for your safety, Oni-sama. That doesn't mean... Why didn't you ask for my consent? I tamp down my swell of bitterness and keep my voice as even as I can. Sarina doesn't look any older than 17 or 18. Just what sort of family environment can make this young girl think that sending people to tail others, no matter what the motivation, is a reasonable thing to do? Sarina's response seems to mock me for having forgotten myself and crossed the line. In a perfectly flat tone, she says the words I least want to hear in this situation. That doesn't matter. Itsuru Kazematsuru is actually a very level-headed person. I'm not worried about this little adventure you've arranged with her. After all, She can handle most of the special circumstances. It's just that you don't seem to have very good luck, Oni-sama. Euro tit as Magziv. Thanks, Kaya. Very cool. Thanks, Kaya. Thank you. Looks like you finally got hit that drunk state that you wanted. Thank you. Coming from the melon connoisseur herself, I guess I should consider this a very big compliment. Thank you. I was so ambry, I didn't feel like this. I took 4 beers. Well, you were planning to drink 4 anyway, right? And I guess 4 was the magic number. Congratulations. Okay. What does that mean? You still haven't noticed, Oni-sama. That's alright. That's exactly why I'm here. Just like how you can see fresh traces of magic now, you don't know how to rein in your own aura, and to other mages, that makes you, let's say a sitting duck. It's adorable. My burps are crazy right now. I love that for you. I don't see what's adorable about it, but Sarina carries on, heedless. But these traces are like stains. They'll eventually be washed away by the rains of time. Enjoy game, bye. Bye. Rest well. Girl, she drunk. And thanks to the hard work of the Special Investigation Division, Tokyo has always been very peaceful. So peaceful that people who use any sort of little magic trick do their best to cover their tracks. Susie is Winnie Sinkart for me. Soix, Sonic. Yeah. What? Charlotte, is Charlotte playing the Sonic racing game right now? Is that what you're trying to say? That's fair. Sonic mention. Yeah, Sonic mention. The familiar she gave you simply lets you notice when other mages are nearby. You can see the traces their breath leaves behind, which are impossible to hide. Usually that's more than enough. But the strange activity you saw after leaving the police station, followed by the Watanabe Hall of Antique Books, that can only mean one thing. It has its eyes on you. As she speaks, her spirits seem to rise. Some trace of inflection even enters her voice. After all, you've forgotten everything you were taught before you left, haven't you, Oni-sama? Whatever its goal is, it seems to really want you to go inside and see. You've just made your promise to her, and the next instant a clue appeared. Isn't that just like those spirits who grant wishes in supernatural tales? I swallow a mouthful of spit. It rasps like sandpaper in my dry throat. You were saying that was what they call Lord Octopteropes? Most likely. That wretch said he didn't get a good look. But I think you'll end up going to that shop, Oni-sama. Isn't that right? I nod. I don't want to go back on my word to Kazematsuru. And since Sayana came looking for me and didn't bring up Lord Octopteropes, you must have some information on the Watanabe Hall of Antique Books. She brings her velvet-gloved palms together lightly. The soft clap echoes in the space between us. I see you understand, Oni-sama. That's good. Minoru-san wants to see if you've made any progress in these years away. He thinks the bookshop owner will make the perfect target. But I still can't bear the thought of you getting hurt, Oni-sama. So please listen to me carefully. Before you came back, I just happened to acquire a little information through certain means. Some of it involved this bookshop owner, Tomoya Watanabe. Hearing this, I unconsciously snapped to attention. She's quite a well-known black mage. 20 years ago, she started working for an unofficial organization called the Assembly of Truth. I do have Sonic Racing Crossroads on my PS5 and I'm having so much fun now. Nice! I'm glad you're enjoying it. I want to get my hands on the game sometime soon too. I just haven't had the money. I have to prioritize Pokemon in terms of like any games at this point. You girls gotta get Pokemon. The earliest records on the Assembly of Truth date back 40 or 50 years. To sum up, it's a church that uses the guise of Shinto to carry out mass rituals of debauchery and pursue the unification of all beings. I won't elaborate any further on the specifics of their worship. They'll expand on it in great detail, I'm sure. Watanabe was already notorious before joining the Assembly of Truth. Like a classic black mage, she hoped to explore the secrets of life and death through her research. Trying to figure out how to afford all these games coming up a challenge for most of us. October is crazy. Like, obviously these games coming out in the last week of September are also crazy, but like October has so many like big releases. It's insane. It's crazy. I really wish Pokemon wasn't coming out until November. I'm going to be freaking broke, dude. I'm gonna be brokers. The Assembly has recently established bases in Tokyo. The old bookshop you saw is one of them, Oni-sama. And after Tomoya Watanabe joined the Assembly of Truth, she leveraged their power to run even further amok. Due to her lack of restraint, after her clash with the Special Investigation Division, some information about her magic gradually came to light. To be precise, she can use magic traces as ink, and spends time writing books about the lives of the magic owners. Once a book is complete, she can wield the magic of the person who left that trace. The ambush which drove Kazematsu mad is also what allowed them to figure this out. But it's unfortunate that those officers died in vain. In the end, they were nothing but additions to Tomoya Watanabe's book collection. They did some damage to Watanabe, but were all brutally killed. Itsuru Kazematsu nurtured that team from nothing, and she was the only one who managed to escape. And on top of that, Watanabe was cleared of all charges. What a waste. You mean what she's going up against is... That's right, Oni-sama. An enemy who, having survived once, becomes even harder to defeat. And recently, she's emerged from her burrow like a mole waking from slumber, sniffing around for a new target. What do you think, Oni-sama? If you do come home, no matter how Watanabe tries to coerce you, she won't pose any threat. You'll be completely safe. As for Itsuru Kazematsu, once she's made up her mind to die, who can stand in her way? Sarina's tone has grown gentler, but with this sentence it snaps back into unyielding ice. Anxiety squeezes my heart in a tight fist. I look into this girl's eyes, and as they gaze right back at me, I realize that, apart from the deliberately honed tips of those eyes and brows, their golden irises are very much like mine. Yeah, we called this out when we first saw her. Her eyes look so much like his. We learned many things. They're only a little more solemn. I almost agree immediately. Almost. Before I answer, I have a question too. What sort of person is Itsuru Kazematsu? The girl's eyes widen slightly, and her expression clouds. I begin to wonder if I shouldn't have said that, but then she finally speaks. If you take this chance to make her promise you something, she'll do it. That's the kind of person she is. Thank you. Just as I thought, if I get Kazematsu to owe me a favor, If Kazuya really is connected to that mysterious organization... Sorry to disappoint you. I look away before the girl's expression melts into sorrow. I don't mean to turn you down. I just need more time to think. And before that, I have to settle things with Kazematsuru. Even though I have the right to refuse her, I need to keep my word. Even as I mouth this lofty proclamation, I just hope this girl doesn't expose my pretense. Is that so? I see you've learned to bluff too, Oni-sama. Sayana makes a sound of cool disdain, and I almost slump over. Her stare is almost palpable against my skin. Only when it shifts away can I catch my breath, the bitter taste of deceit now replaced by the guilt welling up my throat. Well, in exchange for your rather unsatisfactory response, I'll go on a while longer. Let me tell you a thing or two that might give you nightmares. Do you know something, Oni-sama? Most mages' inborn talents manifest as soon as they draw their first breath. There are very few people like you who live an ordinary life until sensing a deity's presence and becoming a mage. And among those very few records, there's no one else like you, Oni-sama, who beholds their patron deities so frequently. Well, I can't say that for sure. After all, the records only reflect the formal list of rightful deities. There are also non-human beings who take advantage of this to entrap followers, preach, and expand their influence. It gets dangerous. That thing by your side, Oni-sama. It doesn't seem to be anywhere in the Takamagahara myths, does it? Cold sweat trickles from my palms. Judging from Sayana's description, rather than saying that Lord Octopteropes has appeared, it might be more accurate to say... Has it always been with me? When these words leave my lips, Sayana's expression slowly ices over, until it transforms into a spine-chilling smile. Don't be scared, Oni-sama. Just come home. It will all be fine once you're home. When that time comes, I'll protect you. Sayana-sama. The maid softly interrupts us. I have no idea how long she's been silently standing beside the table. My deepest apologies for interrupting your meeting with the young master. But it's almost time for the meeting Sir arranged between you and the supplier. Sarna's expression doesn't flicker. She sets down her teacup, not much emptier than before, and rises to her feet. Alright, Oni-sama. It looks like you need to make up your mind. Before you do, I hope you consider that you still have a little sister waiting at home for you, and you've abandoned her for so long. Damn. She has a brother complex. Strums guitar. What? Nah. What? No. What? No way. Okay. After Sarina and her maid depart, I have no time to waste either. I leave the cafe, and almost immediately run into someone I saw not too long ago. Itsuru Kazematsuru is standing in front of that little door in the alleyway. She can't have been here long. Her footprints are still intact in the snow. What are you doing here? What am I... You've got some nerve saying that. If a certain someone didn't hem and haw over the phone, say he had an emergency and hang up on me right after I picked up, you think I'd be ditching work to run over here? She gives me a few rough swats. You're not hurt, at least. What happened? Sarina Sakuma just showed up looking for me. Oh, your sister. Well, how did it go? What did you think? She's kind of a weird kid, but... At first I thought it was all just a misunderstanding, but it turns out blood ties really are a magical thing. She came to see me to tell me about a black mage named Tomoya Watanabe. What was that name? My voice involuntarily softens under Kazematsuru's steely stare. Tomoya Watanabe. Where is she? She runs an old bookshop called the Watanabe Hall of Antique Books. The exact location is... Hey, are you okay? I'm fine. Just fine. So she didn't just escape punishment. She even waltzed back into Tokyo. In broad daylight. I've never gotten one of her cases. I'd have recognized her right away if I did. Staying hidden this long. Either she's learned to cover her filthy tracks or someone around me is helping her. Great. Just perfect. What else do you know? The shop's probably going to shut down soon, but I don't know when. I choose my words with caution. Kazematsuru paces a few restless steps, then comes to a decisive stop. Lead the way. Right now? Right now. Don't tell me to think it over or any of that bullshit. If I go back to prepare, this will blow up into a big deal. It'll be too late by then. Take me there and leave. As for what I promised you, go see Shibata. He's a coward, but he obeys my orders. I've already told him to help you out. He won't leave you hanging, don't worry. Don't just stand there. All you have to do is point me in the right direction. Tell me where she's hiding. What street, which alley. You can stay out of it. Or are you refusing? Kazematsuru's expression steadily darkens as I remain silent. But for Kazuya's sake, no matter what, I have to bite the bullet and make a proposal she's sure to reject. I'm not refusing. It's just... I want to go with you. Have you gone mad? No! You said it yourself, my powers are special. I can help you. Sayana and... Minoru Sakuma, they think so too. Is that so? I look up, and for what might be the first time, I meet her eyes of my own accord. I have to muster even more courage than I imagined. Bringing a newbie with me would be insane. This isn't like one of your little stage plays. You could die. Perhaps. Perhaps, just as Sayana said, I really will die, and she and her Minoru-san will just look on from the sidelines. But more importantly, I need Kazematsuru alive. I need the truth about what happened to everyone. And I need Kazuya to be safe. Besides, this is the nature of the Sakuma family's trial. I doubt I have the right to draw on their power unless I pass this test. Some things matter more than death. You're sure about this? I gaze squarely at her and nod. She sighs and looks away. Fine. I'll give you an opening. An opening to cast a spell. But how can I let you face her alone? I can fight too. No, you can't. You've barely even practiced channeling your magic. If you insist on butting in, you'll just get in my way. Besides, it's been so long. I have no idea if she's picked up any new tricks. What you can do is conserve your magic while I buy time, and then pinpoint a weak spot for her. Just like you did to me before. It's too late to teach you anything now. Damn it. We'll just have to... Kazematsuru mutters something under her breath as she uses the tip of her boot to inscribe a coarse but complex circular pattern in the snow, enclosing me within it. In fact, those traces which mages can see aren't really that obvious. Which means that if the opponent doesn't have a familiar, and you're well prepared enough, you can keep anyone from spotting those little sparkles. That's all we can do now. She produces a dagger from who knows where, and without hesitation she slices an inch-deep gash into her palm. As blood gushes out, she lets it trickle into the circular pattern. And like water flowing through a canal, it runs neatly along the carven route without a single wasted drop. Shocked, I reflexively whip out my handkerchief and try to bandage her wound. but Kazematsu sidesteps my extended hand without batting an eye. It's fine. I'm just using my blood since I don't have any proper materials on hand. Settle down. She keeps up a constant murmur as she kneels before the steaming snow. Let this flesh be girded in the power woven within the divine feather robe. Glimmers of light rise from the pooling crimson, clinging to my cheeks, whipping up a burst of wind, like a flock of birds taking off from the eaves into the sky. With every syllable she utters, her face grows paler and paler, as if she isn't spitting out words, but instead the living fluid that swathes her organs. By the breath of the sacred trees and the wind that binds earth to heaven. Ugh? Why ugh? Is it because she's hot? I think this is hot, personally. At Kazematsu's cry, the wind sweeps up the fallen snow, and in a single dizzying whirl, scatters it into fine powder once again. The tiny motes flutter to the ground, born anew. It was the line about the stuff around her organs. You know what? Fair. There's a flash of light, and then it vanishes without a trace. And I know you're worried about me. As Kazematsu gets to her feet, she smiles. It's a tiny smile, barely there, but I see it. She writes books about the people she battles. That's how she uses their powers. I've already seen almost all of those. I'm sure my subordinates and I are in there too. But it's been 5 years since the Special Investigation Division was founded. I was the one who fitted them out in their first uniforms. Who could know them better than me? I'm not as frail as you think. Lead the way. That theme was cool too, also. I liked that music. Music in this game's pretty good. Alright, let me stretch. Okay. Lock in. The exterior of the Watanabe Hall of Antique Books is still bathed in deep green. Something's off. Even if she was just setting off magical fireworks here, it shouldn't be this conspicuous. Kazematsu crouches, peeling off her gloves, and lightly touches the ground. Her fingertips come away coated with soft snow, which melts to reveal grayish-white particles, barely visible in the sunlight. Bone ash? Looks like the concealment barrier failed. But even so, the way it's overflowing, it's like everything's coated with a layer of magic. Did your sister tell you what happened here? It wasn't Sarina. It was me. I saw the figure of Lord Octopteropes here. So it's divine influence? That's odd. But forget it. There's no time to harp on it right now. She stands up and dusts off her hands with a self-deprecating laugh. Then she pushes open the aged black lacquer door of the old bookshop. The wind chime rings out crystal clear, and sunlight streams into the dim room. Kazematsu is silent, staying protectively in front of me. I look over her shoulder and take in the entire space. The room doesn't seem to have been cleaned in a while. Our footsteps stir up a huge cloud of dust. Indistinct shapes dangle from the plaster walls. I can just barely make out some plants withered beyond recognition, demonic no masks, and faded tapestries. The weathered wooden shelves are crammed with yellowing books. The cracked floorboards emanate the clammy smell of decay. The formerly vibrant paint is peeling. The exposed innards are furry and stained black by moisture and mold, and reek of damp. The gap between the shelves is just wide enough for a single person. As we pass through, my neck itches from the spiderwebs that cling to it. Ooh, not spiderwebs on the neck, bro. Ugh! Worst feeling in the world. The further in we go, the dimmer it gets. The only gleam of light comes from the tortoiseshell fragments inlaid in the antique prints on the wall. It's not that the space lacks lamps or windows, but they're all blocked by the dense bookshelves that tower to the ceiling, so no shaft of light can penetrate. And the books perch precariously upon those heights, surveying everyone beneath. Dear me, I never expected anyone to visit my little shop. Oh. The wind chime seems to have disturbed someone. The ancient air is split by an equally ancient voice. Every wheezing breath is gummed with sticky yellow phlegm. It's like there's a tattered set of bellows built into the speaker's chest. A cane taps upon the staircase. I hear a thud, followed by a prolonged and heavy creak. Then this repeats again, over and over, until the noises finally settle to the ground, like a boulder lowering onto a skull. What are you looking for? I might be able to help. Kazematsu keeps her voice low. She sounds surprisingly at ease. It's like the person in front of me is someone else entirely, who simply walked in here by chance and has never seen bloodshed. Only I can see the tremors of rage running through her body. Oh, ma'am. I was wondering if you have any older poetry collections? There are so many books in here, I don't really know where to start looking. The third shelf on the left should have what you're looking for. I stay close behind Kazematsu, keeping every footstep soundless. Wow, what an old edition of the Manyoshu. I really struck gold here. Kazematsu picks out 2 books at random, her fingers drumming against them. She keeps walking onward. Why'd you decide to set up shop in Ginza, ma'am? I mean, land's pretty pricey here, isn't it? What is money, after all? You can't take it with you. Hearing all that hustle and bustle does me good. It makes my old bones ache a bit less when I exercise. Ah, that's true. Speaking of, there's a police station around here, right? So it's pretty safe, too? The most trouble I've ever had is the occasional rat or bird. A pink glow washes over Kazematsu's face. She lifts her hand to make a gesture I don't understand. Then she pauses and changes it to a clear sideways motion. Stepping softly, I conceal myself in the vast shadow of a nearby bookcase. By the way, I saw outside. You're planning to move soon? Why's that? It's just that Tokyo is getting a bit too cold for these old bones. But back to you, Missy. Have you decided what you're going to buy? Kazematsu's voice is sweet, but her eyes are more savage than I've ever seen them. Of course. Here I come. With those words, she purses her lips as if she's blowing outward. Wind. Wind erupts through this cramped shop jammed with furniture, surging between the sealed doors and windows. Then, with a rapid volley of ear-splitting whistles, a tremendous force bursts outwards on both sides. The air becomes a maelstrom of fragile wood splinters. The bookshelves topple over. The wind sends the books tumbling, rips them apart, and blasts them up towards the high ceiling. I cover my ears against the piercing cracks and huddle on the ground. Just as I've done before, I let my magic flow through me. 1, 2... Huh? She missed. Or was she blocked? So it's you. Still hidden behind a pile of books, I carefully squint through a gap in the bookshelf. Thud. Creak. Thud. Creak. Thud. After a few explosions, I hear a cane rapping against the floor. It slowly draws closer. So close that every groan of the floorboard seems to last an eternity. I see you've learned a thing or two in these few years. I can hear that laughter. Ancient and rotten and cruel. Good. I'm glad to see you're so full of energy. But you're just a little late. Why now? Shouldn't you have done this when they were screaming in agony, their bodies melting away? With that hunched back and kerchief, the monster looks like any other old woman. She caresses the gleaming knob of her cane, smiling placidly. The bright pink and dark green lights, lodged in the air in front of her, slowly fade away. Did you simply feel sorry for a poor old woman? It really is such a pity that you couldn't kill me. Kazematsuru's face remains impassive. She says nothing. Something's protecting her. For a few seconds, I manage to writhe free of my boiling morass of thoughts. The old woman opens her mouth once again, and Kazematsuru's figure suddenly sways. No, that isn't her. The swaying shadow sends ripples through the air. Her sharp dagger stabs through an open book, and darting swifter than the eye can see, she appears behind the old woman. She leaps high in the air. The dagger spins between her fingers. An array of clear white light flashes from it. The very tip of its blade is smeared with a blackness deep and dark enough to swallow all color. She soars into the darkness without a sound, without so much as a tremor of breath. The rustle of a turning page. The translucent bubble suddenly bursts. The froth of green foam is split by the dagger's blade, exploding into a chain of green-white sparks. For those of you that are not looking at this screen, I want you to know that this fight sequence looks really cool. Having all of the characters be in silhouette and showing them moving around. The Japanese text floating in the background. There's just something about it that's really cool. I wish I was better at reading kanji because I can't read all of it. But it looks really cool. Even this music sounds so cool. Yeah, I love this action track. It's so mellow, but it still really conveys the idea of a serious battle. It's banger. But I just wanted you guys to know that I really like what's happening. I'm locked in still. Him. Blood gushes from the wound on Kazematsuru's palm. As the foam dissolves in midair, she involuntarily staggers backwards. And a sharp wooden stake pierces through the vestiges of white light, hurtling straight towards Kazematsuru's face. The blade and the stake collide. An explosion rings through the air. The rotting floorboards shatter under Kazematsuru's feet. She springs upward again, storms of bright color swirling around her feet. A soft breeze cuts through the dust and darkness, revealing a razor-sharp blade circling the old woman. Somewhere I can still hear pages turning. Before the old woman dodges. There's no better opening than now. Ignoring the fiery pain in my mouth, I enunciate as clearly as I can. May she henceforth be unable to move. Kazematsuru's momentum doesn't slow. The gale roars behind her until that blur of silver light kisses the old woman's neck. The sound of a blade sinking into wood. It looks like you haven't learned your lesson from that old story. The old woman's voice issues from the shadows of the bookshelf. My eyes go wide. Oh, you've brought a new little rat. Quite a curious one this time. I'll be sure to study him very carefully. Come to think of it, does he know how his own predecessors died here? Roots snake through the floor beneath my feet, kicking up pitch-black dirt, leaving furrows like huge earthworms. Not roots again. We had to deal with this in Rotten Roots, not more roots. Why is it always roots? I don't know if she's figured out where I am. I don't want to make any rash moves. But suddenly, fleeing now might be even more dangerous. A root scrapes against my foot, its surface hard and jagged. I clamp my hand over my nose and mouth. I don't dare to make a single sound. I might not be getting enough air. My face floods with heat. The roots, they're back. They're back and they're just as rotten. Fortunately, that thing shows no signs of returning. I only notice now how fast my heart is pounding. Kazematsuru's cold voice rings out from the other side of the room. She blends into the darkness. I can't even catch sight of her. All I see is a motionless shadow. Next time I won't leave you enough breath to run your mouth, Tomoya Watanabe. I hear the slash of a blade slicing through branches. The crawling vines, boughs, and thorns have spread across the entire bookshop without me realizing it. They're studded with brightly colored blossoms. Do you remember this? I can hear the smile in the old woman's voice. It's still covered in the blood of those children of yours. That last one was a lad who liked plants. When it stabbed him right through the chest and hung him on the fence to bleed out, he made quite a lot of noise. I'm sure you heard it. As soon as she says this, the calm air is abruptly torn apart. Kazematsuru charges out from another corner, reaching the old woman in an instant. The spot where her voice came from holds nothing but a dissipating gust of wind. The wind sends dirt and wood flying. The old woman is lifted perilously aloft by a tangle of vines, as writhing plants rip their way out of the ground, their softest parts glinting like cold metal. For anyone curious, the kanji say like reception, entrance to the used bookstore, Watanabe, etc. Oh, I see. Okay. As Kazematsuru darts past, they pursue her every step, their sharp tips plunging repeatedly into the ground with a barrage of snapping sounds. Kazematsuru's silhouette stretches out impossibly long. All I can see is a blur of white-gray hair flashing past, weaving through the chaos like a lethally cold tempest. She jumps, propelled by the whirlwind beneath her feet, nimbly evading the plants that graze against her. One of them slices a deep gash in her coat, but thankfully no blood is spilled. Once again, her dagger bears down on the old woman, who has a book lying open in her hand. The instant the page turns, the space before her suddenly warps. The air all around Kazematsuru seems to spiral towards the center, forming a vortex. If she keeps going, she'll be sucked in. My entire body is feverish. When I try to open my mouth again, there's a faint swollen ache in my throat. But I couldn't care less. I have to. Nothing stands in the way! Kazematsuru falters for the barest instant, then keeps hurtling forward. The foliage in her path crumbles away, exposing a translucent membrane like a bubble. And beyond that, the astonished face of Tomoya Watanabe. The dagger plunges through the thin membrane with a blinding white light. The old woman's lips curl into a cold smile, and Kazematsuru returns it. In the first attack, the air projectiles were buried under the other whales of compressed air. This time, they rained down mercilessly with deafening shrieks, crashing into that hard membrane with irresistible force. The destroyed plants are naturally beyond recovery, and the interval before other vines can grow is enough time to unleash her pent-up murderous intent. The first missile stirs ripples. The second creates a crack, and the final one rips through the membrane completely, tearing open a fatal rift. If you're using Ageishi and Aihara's magic, you should know their weaknesses just as well as I do. For one, it's not flexible enough. For another, it can only take so much damage. This time her dagger finds its mark. It speeds through the fissure created by the air and slices straight across the old woman's neck. Blood fountains out. Then I hear a hoarse cackle, and Kazematsuru clicks her tongue, irked. Dodge that? Pity. A sturdy vine cuts Kazematsuru off before she can keep attacking. A slimmer vine wraps around the old woman's waist, smashes through the railing of the overhead walkway, and hoists her to safety, putting her out of reach for now. The old woman has one hand pressed to her throat, which was nearly slit, and the other on her open book. A soft white light glows amidst the dripping blood, and her ragged breathing stops for a second. Then the injury on her throat knits back together, and in its stead, a gaping wound cuts neatly through her eyelid and the eyeball beneath, oozing a mix of blood and tears. Her face looks even more sunken and atrophied now. You're weaker than before. Kazematsuru puts her hand behind her back, signaling me to change my hiding place. I step softly, but my increasingly dizzy brain conjures the illusion that my body is growing hotter and hotter, that I'm treading on clouds. No, it isn't an illusion. But you're just as reckless as you were before. You did a little better this time, but still no real improvement. The itch in my throat is getting sharper. I can't take it any longer. I clap my hands over my mouth and cough as softly as I can. The coughs become more violent, spiraling out of control, until I've gone from hacking up saliva to fresh blood. It sprays between my fingers, impossible to hold back. Oh no! That's not good. Oh, one moment. I got a notification for something. Okay. My head is on fire. My body is shaking, cold jolting through every nerve like an electric shock. I feel like I'm being buried alive in both lava and snow. All I can do is feebly wrap my arms around myself for warmth. Yeah, yikes. I'm nervous. Those bubbles. Amidst the blasts of heat and cold, pain claws through my marrow, coiling around my bones, stripping away my control of my own muscles. I retch, but all that comes up is a reeking, blackened mass of blood. I think Kazematsuru is sprinting towards me, but new plants spring to life, cutting her off. The dagger and the wind hack away as much as they can, but they always seem one step behind. She won't make it. Roots are growing at my feet. They heave away the soil and slowly unfurl tender new shoots. The first thing to be ensnared in that wooden cage is my leg. Plants wind tightly around me, digging into my skin and bones, as if I'm no more than a garden trellis for flowers to climb upon. And free time for Oni. Time for Oni. Oni time. Welcome, welcome. They squeeze so hard it's like they're trying to extract some delicious and nourishing juice to quench their thirsty roots. My vision is going black. My body might be screaming. But all I can do is vomit, endlessly and painfully, until my stomach and gullet burst from my mouth. Oh, ew. Hey, this is the part about the entrails. Yuck. As I said, you haven't improved. You didn't even look into what I've gained these past years before you came blundering in with a greenhorn. I spit out another mouthful of blood and try to invoke my magic like before. If I can just say it, say that my body is fine. But the branches immediately clench even tighter around my chest, like they're reading my mind. I think I really do scream this time. Kazematsuru's footsteps seem to have slowed as well. She coughs once. Then her breathing becomes ragged, just as mine did. Her lips are pressed tightly together, but the occasional cough bursts out, impossible to contain. You've been poisoned too. If you let him die, perhaps you can try to kill me again. Kazematsuru's pallid face blooms with a sickly scarlet flush. She shoves her fist against her upper lip and spits out a gob of saliva laced with blood. But her feet never stop moving. She makes her way through the ring of plants and finally stops in front of me. She moves incredibly fast. It's a moment's work for her to sever the branches wrapped around me. She seizes my collar, and with all her remaining strength, she hurls me towards the door. The wind bears my body along, its invisible knives slicing away the oncoming vines. With a force that's almost gentle, it sets me down on my stumbling feet. Kazematsuru stands before me, black blood streaming from her nose and mouth. Mission failed. You figure out how to open this door. Get away as far as you can. Then in a flash, she springs back into that dense jungle of plants and unknown beings. I try again to summon my magic, but even breathing is a struggle. I can no longer tell if the pain I feel is from the poison in my bowels or the circulation of my own magic. As the searing agony threatens to rip my guts apart, I notice that the staircase carved with strange patterns is shuddering. And slowly, drop by drop, Blood begins to seep from each stare. Then light explodes from it, a tsunami of magical force and some even more dangerous pressure. The overlapping sounds of battle seem to fade. I hear Kazematsu swearing incredulously, but when I look back, all I can see is a storm of tumbling cherry blossoms. The petals scrape against each other with a harsh metallic screech. I'm almost completely parched. This time it's impossible to force out a word like eliminate. Besides, there are still more petals waiting in the wings. I don't think elimination would go very far. No time to think. Ugh, do not fall. My muscles are convulsing from my own weight. My fingers are on the door handle, but the glow which settles on them is as faint as a guttering candle, and just as powerless. I don't think I can use any more magic. Just as this flashes through my mind, something close to me shatters. Watch out! Blood splashes onto my face. The spell, stretched beyond endurance, collapses. The accumulated petals descend in showers like a light snowfall. Kazematsu's body is propped above me, one arm dangling limply. A coppery sweet liquid drips down and splatters in my eye. I truly never tire of seeing a rat struggle. I clamp my hands over Kazematsu's wound to staunch the bleeding, with every trace of remaining strength. But to my shock, all I can sense is my own body failing, and darkness eating away at my vision. How can anything be kept from me in this place? This can't be. I know Yes. I'm an old woman. I'm wounded and blind and running out of magic. But so what? What does any of that matter within my atelier? This time, Kazematsu's eyes fly open wide. This bookshop... Ugh. Her last words are cut off by the dull thud of something striking flesh. And now, it looks like it's just you left. The old woman's bleeding eyes are firmly shut, but aim unerringly at my own. I can hear my own feeble groans. I was so smug at the thought of my special magic, but now, for the first time, my complacent soul senses the approaching touch of death. Kazematsu was right. All I did was get in her way. I didn't help at all. If I'd been more useful... I can't tell if the sensation crawling through my nerves is physical anguish or the mental torment of regret. I reach out, clawing until my fingernails split, but I still can't dislodge the vines that slowly clamber up my body, enfolding me in their embrace. The world begins to swim with glowing black and white dots. Fragments of images flash before my eyes. Sarina Sakuma, Itsuru Kazematsu, Kazuya unconscious. And finally, it all freezes on Hatsuyuki's lifeless face. I can't die. Even if I've never endured such agony, even if I have to squeeze the last drop of blood from my body, I cannot die. There's something I must do. Fear shrinks to an infinitesimal speck, leaving one last bit of room for thought, and resolve rushes in to fill it. Suffocated in an airless void, I see a white feather fall, as if in answer to someone's call. Pain. Merciless, relentless pain. I try to bring my body back under control, but it's immobilized by a flaying sensation. Like a knife is shaving away my nerve endings, turning my vision into a sea of white. Magical force racks my body. I only notice now that Kazematsu's body has slumped over, lighter than a falling blossom. Or maybe I've just lost my sense of hearing. But then why do my ears roar at the sounds of falling feathers and monstrous breathing? Magic rampages through every part of me, squeezing, mending, swelling. It tears apart the vines wrapped around my body and stuffs them into the ravenously gaping wounds. My skin peels away, and branches immediately sprout from the bare flesh. A new layer of skin forms over them, but barely lasts for a second before the branches rip it away in their frenzied growth. Amidst this inferno of pain, I part my lips, or my face splits open down the middle, or it unfurls on all sides like a blooming flower. I can no longer tell the difference. All I can sense is muscles, veins, and nerves pouring out through the cracks, breathing, growing, spreading, meeting the mingled hot and cold air. And all cells quaking in unison, shrieking with the joy of countless silent howls as they lie bare to the world. Such is life. Unfettered, voracious conquest, heedless of death or consequences. And this body is nothing but the paltriest of husks, existing only to serve that most primal hunger. Perhaps I am no human, but a worm struggling in its cocoon. Once my enveloping facade is punctured, all I can do is wallow in the festering slime known as blood and tears, watching it drip through the cracks. And all that is within me, but is not me, rejoices wildly, savoring this untrammeled evolution, enraptured by almost eternal freedom. They bulge inside the bubbles surrounded by sinew and fat. They squeeze into the crevices between air and light. Just as the universe enfolds stars and humans in death, they twist and tangle to enfold the fresh, untainted dust. My soul is borne aloft in a sweet resonance that eclipses all else, painted in a shower of iridescent hues. I feel capable of anything. Society, identity, thought, wisdom. Once I've cast them off, I will gain the power to redeem all of those meaningless losses. Watanabe's wrinkled face is quivering violently. Her attention has finally shifted away from Kazematsuru's body, lying crumpled on the ground. She opens her half-lidded eyes fully for the first time, and gazes at me with an emotion I can no longer decipher. Whoa! Whoa, that's creepy! 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 Ay, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Creepy. Creepy little monster thing on the ground, and the creepy butterfly in the background is scary. Kawaii. But also, fucking sick. Censor the beautiful woman. I mean, it's not gore, it's just a scary butterfly with an eye. I don't think it needs to be censored. It's a little scary looking. Okay, let me lock in. I have lost my vision, and yet everywhere my eyes spring open. And that is how, in her clouded irises and slightly unfocused pupils, I see my own reflection. Shrouded in white feathers, both human and not, spitting forth a pus that erodes the bounds of reality. A humanoid figure, akin to both a bird and a butterfly at once. In that instant, time becomes molten soft. Soft enough to dilate the definition of minutes and seconds, to leap across millennia in the blink of an eye. Right now, I'm certain I can. My lips part on their own. I smile. Every single one of me. It is the smile of a child scribbling their first line of poetry in a notebook. My brain seems to be melting, soaring towards a future of sweet serenity. I probably have just enough time left to utter a few sentences. But it doesn't matter. As long as I succeed. Forget about everything else. Focus. I just have to remember what Kazematsuru and Sayana told me. About her. Holding this in my mind, I tell myself I have to speak. And so my indolent cells, submerged in bliss, reluctantly begin to stir. No, Itsuru Kazematsuru. You, and all the others, were wrong. She, Tomoya Watanabe, is not able to use the magic of another after she has written the book. In essence, she draws power from writing itself, but she also needs a written record as a foundation. If she wishes to reuse it, she has to. Whoa. Whoa, 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 wait. Whoa, wait. Okay, she draws power from writing itself, but she also needs a written record as a foundation. If she wishes to reuse it, she has to... Illustrate, mutilate, interpret, incant, dissolve, enclose, engrave, distort. Engrave kind of feels like the word that speaks the most to me, but I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. Because I think of engrave because she got the same injury that he had, or well, when she gave him the injury, she had to like, no. What I mean to say is when she had the injury on her neck, in order to heal it, she had to then take an injury across her eyes. So something still has to be hurt on her. She can just choose to move where the injury is. I think engrave is the closest from what I've seen. But maybe this choice doesn't matter and it's just flavor text. It'll be interesting to see how it interprets this, or maybe it'll tell me I'm wrong. But I'm gonna say engrave, because I think that's the most accurate to what has happened so far. The iridescence shatters. All is silent. The space is as pale and stony as if it has been transfixed by a snake's stare. But once these words ring out, it exhales a muffled breath. Tomoya Watanabe moves as slowly as an actor in a pantomime. With motions so halting they border on exaggeration, she opens the book clasped in her hand. Her withered fingers turn the page, a gesture that has become painfully familiar to me over the past few hours. She looks up. Her hunched back seems to straighten slightly. Surely you know what you're doing. It's a miracle you're not dead in this state. Further reversion after this is inevitable. Why go to such lengths just to save someone? I don't understand what you've done, but I'm willing to let you go. We can put all this behind us. How does that sound? My mouth parts faintly detect a strange scent in the air. The scent of fear. The organ in what would probably be called my chest cavity unfolds, layer by layer. Air washes over the soft but resilient membranes. I think I'm the one speaking. Not great. Don't push your luck! She presses down on a page of the book, and a familiar power surges. Wind whips up to kiss my bare body. Watanabe's eyes are wide with excitement, as if she can already see ahead to the next second. The scene of her collection ripping me to pieces. But her smile vanishes the next instant when the magic dissipates. When the medium isn't a book, your magic doesn't work. Isn't that right? Right now, you have no way of resolving this. Like I said, not great. Thinking about my expression, assuming an expression from a visage like this wouldn't scare audiences away in the first place, this must be the smile she least wanted to see. I don't know what happens next. After coming up with all those cool lines and delivering them in such a short time, I'm completely burned out. But thankfully, I'm still younger and healthier, which must be why, before my eyelids finally succumb to gravity and glue themselves shut, Tomoya Watanabe collapses from exhaustion first. To be honest, it's quite the fall. She lands with a loud crash, kicking up a wave of dust and blood. I wonder if, instead of Kazematsuru's rage, this ordeal might be what proves fatal for the old woman. But maybe I'm being a bit too magnanimous, worrying about the enemy's physical condition. As all this nonsense drifts through my mind, I hear heels squeaking against the wooden floor, somewhere out of sight. I try to turn and look, but this is too much for my spine, which has fallen half asleep as unyielding as a metal rod. Instead, I let those voices paint a mental picture of the people speaking. Sir, the time. You truly are such a handful. But you have passed the test. Damn. That's all I remember. The next time I wake up, I'm in the hospital. Soon after I wake, Kazematsuru shows up in my room, swathed in bandages and casts. Even bundled up like a Western mummy, she seems far livelier than I am, with no visible injuries. According to her, when she regained consciousness, the Watanabe Hall of Antique Books was covered in blood and gore. But the only people there were Tomoya Watanabe, who had passed out on the floor, and me, still completing my slow transformation from a jumbled butterfly-bird-human hybrid back to a regular human. It was a frightful sight. When she carried out an initial examination, she was shocked to discover that my reversion was gradually undoing itself. Really? Man, our main character really is a special case. They told us in the beginning that reversion, which is what happens when you let your magic go too wild and you cast too many freaking spells and you just kind of go crazy, go stupid with it. We were told that, like, once you start experiencing reversion, it basically cannot be undone ever. But apparently, for Mr. Kotori, it can. His body just does it. For fun. Huh. Never go full oopid. So true. Don't go full oopid. Don't go full silly with it. It was unclear whose handiwork it was, but at any rate, that meant I could hold on until her requested backup arrived. The hospital where we currently are is a Kazematsuru family investment, serving special investigators and certain civil servants. The facility also provides treatments for victims of magic. They even let Kazematsuru and me have an entire floor to ourselves, on account of our status. So once I'm able to get out of bed and being cooped up gets too stifling, I have chats with Kazematsuru in the hallway. It helps to while away the time. Right now, Kazematsuru is sitting next to me. She isn't wearing her usual hat for once. She's in a relatively loose-fitting shirt, her arms draped over her lap. After hearing me out, she contorts her face into an impressively tricky expression. One brow raised, the other furrowed. It looks a little silly. So some mysterious benefactor stopped your reversion and helped me deal with that old hag? Sounds like Ronin aren't totally extinct in Tokyo. And they even left her alive. Well, I guess killing somebody who can't resist, it isn't for everyone. Whatever. It all worked out in the end. I looked into it for you, and it seems like your recovery is coming along nicely. There should be minimal after effects from you overtaxing yourself. Just don't exhaust yourself again and you'll be fine. Really, what were you thinking back then? You could have run. You didn't need to go so far just because of an agreement I forced you into. What was I thinking? I have a friend who might be connected to that assembly of truth you mentioned, but I'm not sure if they were coerced into it or joined voluntarily. At first, I was just thinking that if I got involved, maybe I could help cover this up. And later on, after I found out about your situation, you made it very clear that all you wanted was to kill the culprit. Then, I thought maybe I could get you to owe me a favor. So at least my friend would be safe. But in the bookshop, I was thinking I couldn't let her hurt you anymore. That's all. Huh? Oh. I see. Kazematsuru seems to have choked on her spit. She lapses into an earth-shatteringly loud coughing fit. It goes on for ages. Slowly, her breathing calms and she finally speaks again. I don't know who that friend of yours is, but I'll be suitably lenient. Assuming he or she hasn't done anything that endangers anyone else. Kazematsuru stops talking. I hear the rumble of a cart trundling towards us from the other end of the hallway. The nurses, familiar faces by now, are like cats who've spotted a mouse. Kazematsuru discreetly gets up and leaves me to my fate, being batted back and forth like a doll between many hands. I try to shoot her a reproachful glance through the wall of arms, but the barrier proves to be completely solid. Why did you sneak out of your room again? Didn't we tell you to rest quietly? Sorry. It was just really stuffy in there. Anyway, I'll tie up all the remaining loose ends. You just relax and focus on your recovery. I'll be sure to do what I promised you, including the investigation. I'll let you know if there's news. I can't see Kazematsuru herself, but her smile is audible in her voice. You better cooperate with those physical checkups. Wait. No sharp movements! Hurry up and get back to bed. You're still very weak. Are you trying to catch a chill out here? I get it. They're silly. A whole week passes before I'm permitted to move about freely. Kazematsuru's arm still hasn't fully healed, but she insisted on removing the cast around her injury and replacing it with a splint to make movement a little easier. Like I promised, I'm taking you to see your friend's body. It's all done? I just got the news yesterday. They finished the examination. Then we have to notify her family and make the arrangements for the body. I hear they're already on their way to Japan, but there's still some time. You can go take a look before that. I follow her down the stairs, past the patients who are out getting some air like I used to. Soon I feel a chill setting in. The lights on the second basement level are glaringly bright. Kazematsuru is standing before a door. She reaches out and pushes it open, not too wide. Go in by yourself. I'm guessing you'd rather be on your own for this. All right. Thank you. No need. You've helped me out plenty. The air in the morgue is very cold, but Hatsuyuki's skin is even colder when I touch it. She lies there quietly, dressed in a thin hospital robe. The makeup has already been wiped off her face, exposing the ashen skin and the dark blemishes that have formed on it. I gently part the equally chilled fabric, and there it is, her body. Lifeless, charred, and torn, crisscrossed by long, jagged scars of stitching. A body. Time passes, and passes, and passes. Until a fallen teardrop is as cold as that deathly still air. Her eye open! Her eye open! Why do that? What the fuck? But it's not being preserved by the huh? Is it still being preserved? What? Huh? What? Sorry, that jump scared me. What? What the hell? Like, I thought that because Kazuya wasn't there to, like, do the magic stuff, like, do the magic stitchery, I thought that that's why it wasn't, huh? Huh? Wow, okay. I guess we're just going to pretend that that didn't happen, because now we're cutting to whatever this is? Cool. Anyway, him. It's now February by the Western calendar, but the winter cold hasn't diminished in the slightest. When Shibata arrives in a rented rickshaw to pick up Kazematsuru and me, he even brings fur coats to shield us against the elements. I can't talk. Against the elements. As the rickshaw lurches forward, Kazematsuru suddenly speaks. What are you going to do after this? After this. The Sakuma family should be paying you a visit very soon. They're probably sending the invitation to your place. And I hear you still have a friend in the hospital? There are signs he might be waking up. Eh? She shrugs, then grimaces, having jarred her wound. I'm just saying, you can't really pick more than one option, can you? If you still want to stay in the troupe, it's an old family, and there's a very capable contender who's your age. They won't make that much fuss over an heir who's traipsing around outside. If you want to go back to the Sakuma family, I figure Minoru Sakuma-san probably won't allow you to keep performing. After all, it's bad for the family image. You can't be in theater! That'll make our family look bad. We don't want someone in our family acting, reading scripts, being on a stage. That's bad. Okay. It's literally free advertising, but go off, I guess. Emolence prerequisites. To be fair, I stopped myself from saying it. I just jokingly said that I was about to say emelence. That's different from not being able to pronounce the word elements. I caught myself. I actually have the ability to catch myself when I'm about to fumble a word. Much love to my unit mates who can't do that. Much love. Anyway. Yeah, theater kids, we can't have that. She suddenly breaks into a grin. Or maybe you don't even want to be part of this whole hornet's nest. So what do you think? Kaze Matsudu, observing my turmoil, claps me on the shoulder with her limber hand. That silent encouragement helps me to gradually calm down. I think I'll... Oh man, the big choice moment. Leave? Save game? Yeah, I guess this is probably the best time to save. If I'm going to save at any point during this. Streamer! Streamer, leave! Streamer! Okay. I mean, the troop is his family. My instinct is to choose the troop. I think the family is sus, even though they did go out of their way to help heal his reversion, and they probably know a lot about helping with, like, the powers or whatever. But I think the family is still a little bit too sus. Leaving also just doesn't seem like the best option. I guess that's the very much, like, I don't fucking care about any of this shit, I'ma leave. Although I don't know what happens when you do that. Like, what route would that even put you down, if any? Or would it just be automatic bad ending, you got the fuck out of Dodge? My instinct says to go back to the troop, personally. But, give me a quick second. I have to go to the little Oni room. I've been chugging too much water in the past couple of hours. I will be right back. I've been chugging too much water. Hello. I'm back. Okay, I did save, right? So I guess I will just pick the instinct for the choice that I want to choose. And then, depending on how short or long this choice is, maybe we'll go back and see the other two. Just out of curiosity's sake. But no, in my heart of hearts, I want to go back to the tropey. Because, like, by all accounts, leaving, I wouldn't be connected to any of the love interests anymore. The troop, that seems to be where a majority of the love interests are. And then, like, what's the Sakuma family choice? The uncle, the sister, the friggin', what's her name? Sakurai? Maybe if she's, like, an arranged marriage partner. I'm curious what leaving would entail, even though I don't think it's the one I would choose as the character. I know, right? It's so weird. Anyway. I feel like character-wise, he would choose this. Which is also partially why I want to choose it first. I try to choose what I think is as close to canon when I have an established character like this. But we'll see. Like I said, depending on how long or short these ending sections are, we might go back and see the other choices. This could also very easily end up just being an illusion of choice moment, where maybe you just get, like, slightly different flavor text, but then you get forced into a straight line. Oh. We're sorry that the rest of the content is still under development. If you'd like to continue, please roll back and choose the leave this place option. All of that just to be told I can't progress. I have to choose leave this place in order to get text. That's so funny. Awesome. The illusion of choice. What did I say? I literally was like, what if this doesn't matter because you're still going to get funneled down a particular route? What'd I say? End of the stream again? No, we're going to choose leave this place. It said that's the only way to progress the story. We gotta see how it ends. It's so funny that this is the one that they have finished for the demo, though. Like, you would think that this wouldn't be. You'd think that they would choose the troop. But anyways. Kazematsuru's eyes go wide. Really? And here I thought... I'm just a little tired. Good point. After all, you were just a regular person before this. Well then, the Kazematsuru family has a villa in Yokohama. How about I take you to see it? He's chillin'. My boy's on a fucking vacation! Real. Warmth gradually returns to the March breeze, and the carefully tended lawns of the villa shed their faded hues, donning delightful shades of green. The grass is dotted with scattered flowers. A barely perceptible but refreshing scent wafts through the air. I slouch against the marble railing. This pose might be a little uncouth, but it's comfortable. When I look back on everything that's happened, there's a tinge of unreality to it, as if it were a lifetime ago. After answering Kazematsuru's question, I went to see Kazuya, who had awoken, and also paid a visit to the Sakuma family. Sayano was there to receive me, but that Minoru-san never showed himself. The troupe's performances were postponed indefinitely due to a shortage of actors. Before they could restart, Kazematsuru invited me to stay at a villa she owned. A change of scene will help you relax, is how she put it. And the scenery here is indeed as fine as she said. So fine that my nerves, which have been wound painfully tight for a while, are easing with every day here. At least our boy can relax for a bit, considering the hell he's been through. Literally! Like, if for lack of anything else, at least he gets to chill. At least he gets to be okay for a little bit. Good lord, he needs it. He's been through way too much. But just like that, I've temporarily lost my chance to investigate my past. and exactly what happened to everyone in the troupe. Sunbathing here today? Kaze Matsuru leans against the railing, her gray-white hair flowing in the breeze. I hear the cherry blossoms are blooming in the hills nearby. How about going to see them this afternoon? I'm off work, so I've got plenty of free time these few days. At the sound of her familiar voice, my uneasy heart slowly settles into a calmer cadence. I'll just rest a little longer. That's fine, isn't it? Sure. In a corner, where neither of us can see it, a feather drifts to the ground. Normal end 1, a brief respite. Oh, so that counts as the normal end. Demo 2.0 of Taisho Romance Theater has come to an end. We sincerely thank you for playing. Compared to Demo 1.0, 2.0 not only features a complete prologue, but also introduces an entirely new UI and a battle scene, and the development time is multiplied. We're really curious, how do you like it? Please share your thoughts with us. Our team is made up of just 3 people, and over 95% of the game content was created entirely by us. Alongside development, we also handle publicity and other tasks, which inevitably makes the process slow and challenging. This is our very first time making a game. Really? I could not have guessed that. I feel like they've made at least like 4. This is like really in-depth and super like cool and unique for a visual novel, especially for it to be a first game. They're like really pushing the boundaries with this one for sure. Yeah, and it's a team of 3 people. Wowee. So talented. I can't imagine. It's been a challenging but fun journey, and we're proud to have completed Demo 2.0. Please forgive any shortcomings and the absence of an English translation for now. We're working on it as quickly as we can. No, it's okay. It's in English. It's in English now. You did it. We're planning to release the Demo 3.0 by the end of the year. In it, you'll be able to uncover more of the mysteries and secrets behind the troupe and catch a glimpse of the Sakuma family. The gallery and inventory features will also be introduced in 3.0, so please look forward to it. As for the full game, we're aiming for release next year in 2026. Although we had considered launching a crowdfunding campaign, we've had to put those plans on hold for now, as our team isn't working full-time on the project and our time and energy are limited. That's very fair. If you'd like to support us, you can wishlist the game on Steam, join our Discord, and follow us on X/Twitter or Blue Sky. If you encounter any bugs, please contact us through the above channels. We do have a bug report section in our Discord server, which is the best way to reach us. Once again, thank you so much for playing, and we hope to see you again soon. Yippee! Maybe they meant the kanji in the background. Oh, true, maybe. 2026, still waiting for that year. Yeah. A lot of the games that I'm showcasing are in demos that are a lot of the games that I am showcasing are demos that will not be finished until 2026, probably. Give or take a few. But no, this was so fun. Game good. I really like it. Game dev is hard. It is. Especially when you're in a situation where you have to do it as like a side thing or rely on crowdfunding to try and make it go farther. As someone else who also had to rely on crowdfunding to do a lot of projects, I get it. I relate. I get it, Wakaru. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to finish it. I was hoping to come back to it at some point, but it just happened to luck out that we still had time to do it tonight. So yay. Okay, so tomorrow we've got 2 more games. We've got I keep forgetting the first word at the beginning of it. I think it's I keep calling it Oceanic Getaway, so I'm just gonna keep calling it that for now. But anyway, Oceanic Getaway will be the first one we do at noon. That one's a Yuri, so it'll be a girl romancing girls. Ehehehe. And then in the evening, we have another murder mystery themed otome that I'm looking forward to playing too. I hope you will look forward to both of them. It will be a good time. And I'm not streaming on Saturday because my usual stream times are taken up by events. But you will be able to catch me at a concert on Twitch Saturday at noon EST. I'm participating in a song in a concert. I'm gonna promo it properly. I have a graphic. I just haven't had a chance to post it yet, but I'm gonna promo it properly tomorrow so that you guys can know where to go look. Yippee, yippee, yippee. But it'll be a concert on Twitch, so you can watch on Twitch. This is on Twitch. I will share it when I can. Which will be tomorrow, basically. That'll be Saturday. So instead of doing a stream, I'll just be promoting that concert. So, yeah. But we'll be back at it on Sunday with more otome. Well, not just otome, but like more visual novels. Trust. But yeah, this is really, really fun. We're going to call it here for today, though, especially so I can like rest my voice and be ready for even more reading of otome tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone. And until I see you again, Yunotsu!